Welcome to the PaynePoints Podcast. We tell the stories of small businesses, the people that run them, and the journey they are on. Our purpose is to gather a new perspective on starting, growing, maturing, and maintaining businesses of all sizes. So grab that cup of coffee, sit back, and join us as we start the conversation. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Sarah Harbuck, and with me today is both Kristin Ellis and Megan Harbuck. Hey guys.
Hi.
Good morning. So today's special guest is Rachael Amos of CosiMusic. Thanks, Rachel, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come on and talk with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Good deal. So why don't you tell everybody, to get us started, a little bit about yourself and a little Cliff's Notes biography so that we kind of know who you are.
Okay, so hello. I'm Rachel, and I am the owner of CosiMusic, which is an original music project which encompasses singing, songwriting, production, and teaching, vocal coaching.
Ah, nice.
So
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Within the
anything
music industry.
Yeah. In the music
anything
industry.
music, it's me. For
Do
sure.
you also teach instruments, like teaching how to play instruments as well?
I teach piano. Yeah.
Nice.
Good deal. So
Yeah.
how did you get into something like this? Was this something you went to school for? Did you really love music as a kid and go, I'm going to make a career out of this?
Kind of. I really loved singing when I was younger, but I thought I sucked. So I never thought it would be something that I would be doing professionally. I went initially to university as an English major because I wanted to study teaching English in other countries.
Oh.
And I took a piano class for fun. I'd never played piano before in my life. And I'm like, what am I doing? I need to do this. And so I switched my major to music. Initially, I wanted to do music education. And then I realized that being in a classroom with a lot of people makes me nervous. So
Yes.
I ended up getting a general music degree. And I started teaching. And I really fell in love with it. And while I was doing that, I was working professionally as a classic soprano.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I started.
What exactly does that mean, though? Tell everybody who is not a part of the music world, what is that? What a classic soprano? Give us a definition.
So a soprano is a high singer. Hello. And a classically trained, so they usually do opera, choirs, classical cantatas, ensembles, that kind of thing. So I worked as a classic musician, not like a pop musician, not a jazz musician.
Right.
And did you do that with on Broadway, or would they call you in whenever some big music person is recording something and they need a bunch of backup singers? What does that sort of entail for you?
I mainly do live performance. So I don't have any recordings classically.
Okay.
But I studied early music, which is it's from music from the Baroque era, it's very complicated history. Hello.
Wow.
So I performed a lot around the US as an early musician. I've worked in ensembles, I've worked in solos, I've done some summer programs, I've done things like that. I also got to perform once in Germany.
Ooh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't have anything professionally recorded. I don't have an album. I'm not gonna be the next Joyce DiDonato. You don't know who that is. She's a big deal.
Sure.
But I work as an in-person, you need me, I'm there, I'm local, hello.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like weddings, church events, different kinds of live events and stuff like that?
Theater?
It's more of, I mainly do ensemble work. So what that means is let's say it's Christmas. Hello. It's almost Christmas, actually. But there you go. And do you know the Messiah? It's a really famous, it's that thing. So I would be one of the people in the choir.
Yes.
Or I would be doing the solos.
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So not so much weddings and not so much theater either. It's more of like the fancy music.
The fancy stuff.
Musical shows.
All those beautiful holiday songs that we're listening to these days. You're the one singing the high notes that I'm like, man, I wish I could hit that.
Yeah, that's
that's you.
Yeah.
So that's what you do kind of as your is that your main job, or is the teaching your main job?
Right now teaching is my main gig, and actually I'm kind of distancing myself now from classical music. I've been getting a lot into performance and production of Korean pop music.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's a big shift.
I would imagine, yeah.
Classical to more pop,
right, yeah.
Music is definitely a different.
It's a genre all by its own, yeah.
So teaching, obviously, you have private students, but do you teach in the classroom setting as well? Or you said that kind of made you nervous, so I'm guessing not so much.
No, I teach exclusively in a private setting. I work at a couple of local music schools around here.
Where are you based out of, actually?
Yeah.
Right now I'm in Katy, which is really close to Houston.
Oh, okay.
I work mainly in Houston, but I live in Katy because the city makes me nervous too. I'm just a nervous person.
Dang, I was hoping you were closer to Lufkin because my 3-year-old, I'm ready to get him into piano lessons because he has these
I do work remotely too for all of you folks out there. With
there you go.
Online based needs. Yes,
because
especially now because of COVID.
Music.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Yes.
So when you went to school, you went to school with a basic music degree, decided to teach one-on-one in a more private setting, which I imagine gives you a lot more control over, your curriculum and the way you want to teach versus teaching in a classroom setting. It was something that just kind of fell into your lap, or did you kind of purposefully I'm going to be a music teacher, whether it's voice or piano or what have you? Was that something you really set out to do, or
no, not at all?
No,
never me. I never thought it would be me. After I had a really difficult experience when I was studying music education, so I thought, okay, teaching is not for me, friends. And I really just wanted to do performing. I was working on a master's degree, and I needed work because debt. Hello.
Right. Yes.
And a really good friend of mine was like, hey, the school I work at really needs a vocal teacher. I think you'd be perfect for it. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But also I need a job. So okay. And so
gotta eat, gotta keep the lights on.
Yes. You gotta get that food on the table. So I started teaching, and I just completely fell in love with it. I did not expect to.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's a lot more personal. It's a lot more one-on-one, and I'm able to give each child what they need, which is something that kind of bothered me in the public school setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have students that do all kinds of things. My youngest student right now is 4, playing piano.
Wow.
Yeah.
And my oldest is 40. He does
Nice.
classical music.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
I know. I feel very fortunate. I feel very blessed. And my kids, and they're not just kids. Everyone's a kid to me. Like, I'm a kid, but like my 40-year-olds are not kids, But everyone does something different, and it really keeps me on my toes. And it really it makes me so happy to see that people young people are finding themselves through music. It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
So
it is.
yeah, I love it. I guess
That's very
it's okay.
cool. How did you make that transition from teaching at a school, and then to start doing your own thing and starting your own business? How did that happen for you?
It honestly, I think, only happened because of quarantine. It's never something that I had an aspiration to do. My mom was a small business owner, and I always saw how much she struggled because it can be really, really difficult.
It's hard work.
Yeah, and especially with monopolizing the market in various areas, it's just really difficult. So I saw how much she struggled, and it was never something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, so I started making the switch to K-pop because I decided okay, quarantine's happening. I need a creative outlet. I couldn't really perform anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I don't know how long it's going to take again for classical
I mean,
music
I feel like the music industry got hit really hard.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
For the whole thing, because people can't go do concerts
Can't
and
do-
they,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and a lot of artists that I've talked to, you know, that they're like, we like being in a live audience situation. Yeah, we can do these live streams online, but we feed off the crowd that we're around, and
Right.
it's a much more empty experience for a lot of them because, you know, they're not getting that that interaction with their audience that they would normally get. So I can imagine it's just been super difficult for musicians.
Yeah, it really has. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work in a church job. I was like the only music, I was the leadership of music in a live stream. So I did everything.
Gotcha.
And I was fortunate enough to do that, but you're right, there aren't people there when you're doing that. It's just you're singing some hymns and you leave, and it's not as spiritually fulfilling.
Sure.
And creatively fulfilling as well. So I've loved Korean music since I was 12, maybe. It's been a long time. I'm not 12, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm no longer 12. And when quarantine started, I've always wanted to like just sing Korean stuff because I just love it so much. And, you know, I'm a singer. I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
And so I just decided, hey, you know, I've always wanted to do like a YouTube channel. I've always wanted to sing this. Let's just do it and try. And oh my gosh, it has exploded.
It really has. I'm looking at your YouTube channel right now, and her most popular video has almost 2,000 views.
Nice.
For a cover of Jung Eunji's Away. And
Nice.
by the way, guys, I've worked with Rachel in a very close proximity, and she's absolutely amazing. I mean, her voice, she has such a control over her voice that I haven't heard personally. She's just
And yet
so
she
talented.
said when she was young, she didn't think she sounded good. So Rachel, was that because of training? Or some people are just naturally gifted and they don't think they are, but they actually are. So how is it a combination of several things for you? Natural ability and training?
I don't believe that I possess the natural ability, if I'm
Really?
being honest. Yeah, I mean, you know, your family's like, oh my gosh, Rachel, you're the best. You're 7, get it. And I'm just like, when I look back on, because I actually found some recordings of me from 10 years ago recently, and I was listening, I'm like, oh, I thought I was it, and I really wasn't. No, I think it's entirely training.
Yeah.
And
So you're saying someone like me who sounds like a injured, you know, llama could probably make me sound okay?
there is hope. Singing is really just muscle memory.
Yeah,
So when you learn where things are supposed to be and how they're supposed to feel, I really believe everyone can learn how to sing.
Because I sound great in the shower, but then, you know, in the car, not so much.
When I'm alone in the car and I've got the music so loud that I can't hear myself, I sound fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anybody can be a singer, huh?
Yeah, I've worked with some people that when you're really young and you know you have music classes, which are becoming less of a thing now, which is awful, but when you're young, that's when you learn to match pitch. Yeah. And so I've worked with some older kids that they didn't really have that much exposure to it, so they don't know how to match pitch. And in a modern sense, we would say that that's being tone deaf, but I've taught them to learn like how to match pitch. So I really believe that anyone can at any age. If it's something that you want to do it.
And then it's a matter of practicing as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's such a pressure in society to like, you're going to do this, you have to be the best at it. You have to be famous, you have to do that.
But sometimes you just do things for fun because you enjoy it.
Yeah. It's not that serious. It's really not.
Yeah. It's a wonderful creative outlet, you know, singing and it's, what is it? I think I read an article once where people who sing for, I think, at least 3 to 5 minutes a day are like 10% happier than the
I believe
the general population.
Yeah. I believe it.
Like, you know, it just, there's something about our brains that music, you know,
it puts us in a better
Well,
it can put us in a bad place, I guess, if you're listening to a lot of sad, depressing music. But definitely makes you, you know, I put on a playlist and start singing along to it, and you just automatically get into a better mood.
Yeah,
just
music
because of that.
is very influential. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really impactful. Like historically too, it's impactful in the human psyche. Like the whole reason that singing became a thing. Fun historical fact. Hello, I'm here. Singing started just because of like worship. because of
Yes.
spiritual stuff, and
Yes.
it was so impactful to people because like, you know, our ears are less sensitive now because we live with so much noise.
Yeah.
But back then they're like, oh my gosh, this note is the holiest note I've ever heard in my life. You
Yeah.
have to be really careful with that one, yo, because it makes me feel things. Like
Yeah.
they're really sensitive, and it still impacts us in that way
does. It
now.
really
We're
does.
just more used to it, so we don't get as freaked out.
Yeah. That's really cool, though. I
It
never really
is.
thought about, you know, thousands of years ago when music first was kind of becoming
Yeah.
a thing, and the less noise in the world.
Yeah,
And that's
because
like,
it was so quiet.
yeah,
There was no
that was the
airplanes. There
thing.
was no electricity buzz. There was no,
yeah, I
you know,
didn't- I-
TV running in the background.
Thanks for bringing that up, Rachel, because
constantly.
I totally hadn't really even given that much of a thought. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, cool.
The world was quieter back then.
So
Yeah.
you being a musician and you know, either doing private lessons or you know, being a teacher in a public school setting, you know, how do you drive business do you have a website? Do you do word of mouth? Do you do any kind of advertising? Do you work with another kind of like a music center and they give you clients? Like, how does that work for you?
I do a mixture of everything.
Okay.
I do work in 2 different music schools, so in that way they bring me clients.
Sure.
But a lot of it locally is word of mouth. Like, I just do the things and then I get people. I don't really have to advertise myself at this point, which I'm incredibly blessed, because especially like in this situation right now.
Yeah.
I've had so many friends that lost, you know, half of their music studio, and I only lost maybe 20% of mine. I already have it back. I'm really fortunate. But my private students, like the ones that are only connected to me, I don't advertise either. I got a lot of students from my YouTube channel. They they saw it and they're
nice.
like, you can sing, can I sing too? I'm like, of course you can. And so then we, you know, do the things.
So YouTube has kind of
Perpetuated?
propelled. I can't talk
Propelled,
today.
there we go, yeah.
Woo! I haven't had enough coffee apparently.
English is rough.
It
honestly
really is, dude. Like, oh man.
I get it.
So YouTube was a tool that you have utilized to kind of propel you and people, you know, finding your videos and going, hey, that sounds
Yeah.
cool. That looks cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me too. I only started YouTube, I think, about 5 months ago. And it's been
Wow.
really, really, I know, it's been
Yeah.
crazy. And so the reason why CosiMusic was founded is because I had this idea in my noggin, like, hey, Rachel, you should like create music. My
Yeah.
entire life I've thought, oh, you're just like a vessel. You're supposed to interpret. You're not supposed to create. And since I started my YouTube channel, people are like, you love this, like, make it too. And I'm like, I don't know, friends. I guess I'll try. It was a thought in my brain. And then I'm in a Facebook group for K-pop. I'm in several Facebook groups for K-pop. But this songwriter who I actually really like her stuff before I even knew she was a person, she posted in this group and was like, hey, I'm a songwriter. I'm accepting clients because of COVID. And I'm like, hello. And so I started getting songwriting lessons.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm not bad at it. I don't
She's
want
really,
to
she's really not. She's actually super incredible at it.
She's being super modest right now.
I'm okay. It's a very recent thing.
Yeah.
I think I only started about a month ago, but I already have 2 clients, which is crazy. My teacher told me when I had to apply to her program, and I didn't have anything to show her because I've never written music before.
Never done it before, yeah.
No, and she accepted me just because of my YouTube videos, because she saw me singing and said, you love this, and the K-pop market needs that. We need someone that loves it. And so it's come very naturally to me, because this is the music I've listened to on my free time for 10 years, more than 10 years. And so I'm like, you know how people say you either need a degree or experience?
Yeah.
It's like, it's all I know. So
Right?
it's come very naturally.
It seems like a natural progression, though, to be a performer and then to eventually get to a place where you're writing your own stuff or writing for
Yeah.
other people.
Right.
You know, that just
Right.
seems like
Yeah.
a natural progression in the life of a musician. But, you know, I'm not a musician, so I don't know. I'm guessing that it would be It sounds like it based on what you're saying.
I like I said, it's not something that I ever anticipated being a part of my life. I was super content just singing, but I have completely just fallen in love with creating, and it's my new dream. It's like the next step for me. So being a musician's so interesting because 9 times out of 10, you never end up where you think you will.
Yeah.
You'll go to school for opera, you'll end up working at Yale or something. You know, it's which is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful aspect of music, in my opinion, that there's so many things to do, and that's also why I like it, because I get bored easily doing one thing, which is also kind of why I decided, music education on its own is not enough for me. I need something else. I need an outlet. I need to be creative too.
Right.
And so CosiMusic has been born. Thank you. TED Talk.
I have a question for you, Rachel. Would you say that in the music industry, my aunt, she also works in music. She's a music educator. She's been a teacher for several years now. But what I have noticed about all of the musicians and music educators that I know is that continuing education is extremely important in several aspects. And that's kind of what I'm hearing you say now, is that, you don't just stick necessarily with one thing, and you're kind of constantly learning. Would you say that that's true?
Yeah, absolutely. My mentor, he's the person that oversaw my bachelor's degree, and he honestly, music's really difficult. I'm not going to say that it's not. I wanted to quit many times, and he is the sole reason why I didn't. He told me once that if you think you've made it, if you think, oh, I'm the best at what I do, then you need to quit because you don't care anymore. Yeah. And I very much believe that. I try to teach that to my students too, because a lot of them think, oh my gosh, Miss Rachel, you're the best singer that's ever been. Why are you not famous? Like, you're the best. And I'm like, thanks. But I still have a ways to go too. I'm not where I want to be, And they're like, if you're not where you want to be, how will I get where I want to be? I'm like, you're going to be better because you started earlier.
It's always a journey,
Yeah, for sure. And as long as you care about it, you can make it. I fully believe that. If you work, you will make it.
Now, I have a question. A lot of creatives, when it comes to running a business, all the technical things like money and accounting and things like that can be a struggle. Have you found that for yourself? Obviously you're it's really just you. You have this business and it's you doing all the things and making the money. Do you have a harder time with the more technical side of business running than, say, the creative side? Because it sounds like you got that down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. 2000%. That is me. Send help, please.
What do you do to help kind of overcome some of that obstacle in terms of being a creative that's not very technically minded?
I am fortunate to have a lot of people around me that are, and that are willing to help me when I need it. Right now, because I'm really just kind of starting. I've been an entrepreneur my entire professional career, but I've never really had a business. I haven't had a brand. It's something very new to me. So right now I'm just having to invest in that. So my teaching job is amazing because it's really stable.
Right.
And anything extra that I get, I put into my music. I put into my equipment. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm selling my music. So that business aspect specifically, I don't have any experience in. But I do have resources when it comes to that. I've already had people So my dad's a really business minded dude. He's very analytical. He's the exact opposite of me. It's great.
So you need that.
Yeah. I called him and I'm like, Dad, I wrote my 3rd song. And he's like, okay, so when are you gonna get a manager? When are you gonna get a lawyer?
Oh wow.
What's the next step for you? And I'm like, okay, my next step is to finish my 3rd song. And then I'm gonna see what happens after that.
I gotta finish it first, Dad. Come on.
Seriously, come on. We have to calm down. But it's really nice because he just sees, I've shown him my stuff and he sees the potential in it. And he's like, this is going on the radio. I believe in you. Where's your lawyer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, the fact that you have somebody looking out for you on that end of it and kind of encouraging you to look in that direction, because I do think a lot of creatives can just be very, what's the word, kind of go with the flow about it, and cool, this is a thing that's happening over here, but not really realize they need to protect themselves and their assets. So that's good that he's kind of pushing you in that direction.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that will take advantage.
For sure. I'm very aware of where I lack. So
you find somebody to help you in that particular instance. So you have the brand CosiMusic. How did you come about naming your brand that? What was the kind of the reasoning behind that? Can you give us a little bit of insight into your branding ideas?
So my cat's name is Cozy.
Aww.
Listen. Yes. And
is everything cat themed? Do you have like a cat logo?
I mean,
that's very sweet.
We're getting there. We're getting to that point.
So
but, I was trying to think of what to name my brand. I didn't really want to go with my full name. I wanted something that could stick with you more. And so I was asking some close friends of mine, like, hey, when you think about me, what do you think of? What do you associate? And a lot of them said like a warm cup of coffee and a blanket. Like that's you. And I'm like, so you saying I'm cozy? And they're like, yes, that's what I'm saying. And so
that's perfect then.
Yeah, and I love the irony of it because my music is like, it's a lot stronger. Yeah. So you think cozy music, you think, it's gonna be like a Christmas morning, and it's more like
soft,
a in your face.
Yeah.
Hey, cozy can mean different things to different people.
There you go.
So,
Yeah. I'm gonna rebrand the word and make it bops. It's gonna be cozy bops.
There you go.
That's what you're gonna think. Yeah.
Okay. I always like asking how people come up with a name or where they come with, where they get their branding or their colors or their logo from, because I feel like that's also as much a part of the story of the individual as anything else. So I liked hearing that you asked your friends and they all said that you just seemed like a warm blanket and a cup of cocoa or something. That's just so great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So being a musician has posed a lot of challenges this year, and it sounds like you have kind of overcome some of those by offering remote learning and things like that. Are there any other like obstacles or challenges that you've had to I've got to work through that? I mean, other than you finding a manager or a lawyer, what are some of the things that that you've struggled with that this year has sort of that's prepared me for going forward. I'm going to have to change this and this.
To be honest, my biggest obstacles weren't because of this year. Actually, this year it's been incredibly difficult for everybody, but I think because it allowed me the opportunity to sit and be and think, that's when things were making sense for me. My biggest challenges were actually when I was studying, when I was I just wanted to be a singer. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be a classical singer. I just wanted to, the sounds coming from my mouth. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And I had so much, what's the word? Backlash. There were so many people that said I couldn't do it. Most of the faculty at the school I went to, would personally say, hey, you can't do this. You can't make this sound. You can't be a musician. You don't have what it takes. Wow. I had a lot of really negative commentary. And so that's why I mentioned earlier, if it weren't for my one professor, I would have totally just left.
Wow.
Because I didn't have any confidence in myself then. I'm there to learn. I am there to, I just wanted to understand my craft more. And every turn there was some kind of you can't. And I think
I would argue then they're not very good educators if that's the case. And not to turn the conversation into a bashing session, but definitely as a teacher, so maybe you're never going to be a famous soprano singing opera on a stage somewhere, but if you can't as a teacher bring a person to a certain level and encourage them in that direction, then you have no business teaching.
Well, there's so many different types of music and so many different you can do anything with music. Why do you have to fit into a certain
specific mold?
Right. Yeah.
I initially wanted to do early music, so that's really the technique that I studied. And the school is mainly opera based, so they said you can't do opera, you can't do music, and I'm like, I don't
Not
believe that.
true.
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But when you don't have confidence and then everyone's telling you can't do something, you believe it. So I thought,
that's true.
maybe I'm really bad and I just don't, like, maybe I am. Maybe I can't. And it wasn't until I graduated and I actually started working professionally as a singer. Hello, people back at my university.
Yeah. People are paying me to do this.
Yeah.
So it must not be that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be a famous operatic soprano to be a musician.
Yeah.
And there are so many avenues, and that's what's so beautiful about it. And that's, I think, honestly, the reason why I'm a good teacher, because I recognize not everyone's going to fit this mold I want them to fit.
Yeah.
Some people want to be a singer-songwriter. Some people want to be a J-pop star. Like, it doesn't matter. If you love it, that's good.
You kind of had to have that experience in order to get to this place, to be such a, I think, a good educator to students, because you had such a, well, it sounds like a negative experience to some extent, and that you kind of go, okay, like, hey, this is what I wish I had in this position, you know, and learning. So I like, hey, kudos to learning that and taking that to your clients and your students, and giving them some confidence that you were not given in those early days, and hopefully that you've made up for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that because I faced rejection so early on in my career, I always think if I could get past that, which is arguably the darkest time of my life, those years I was in university, I can get past anything.
Sure.
I really, because my singer-songwriter, my songwriting teacher, we had a conversation. I'm like, I really like this, like I want to do this, and she's like, it's really hard, you have to know. And I told her nothing will ever be worse than my bachelor's degree. Nothing. I don't care what anyone tells me, because now, to be honest, if I hadn't been teaching, I don't think I would be where I'm at either, because when you have a 9-year-old that's like, wow, you're a Disney princess, and you're like, I am, and it just like
makes you feel so good.
Because kids aren't gonna lie to you.
Kids
don't like you.
No, they're not.
They'll gas you up. I mean, they'll
brutally
tell you.
honest kids.
Yeah. They'll tell you how good you are or how bad you are. There's no in between.
And so you know, facing all of these like this criticism that I didn't feel was warranted, and then on the other side having my students that are like weirdly devoted to me, it was a complete turnaround for me. And so when I started CosiMusic, when I started singing K-pop on the internet, when I started writing stuff, I'm like, this time I can. I know I can. And it doesn't matter if someone doesn't like my stuff, someone will. I've learned that throughout my musical journey. Like, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you, and it's okay. There will be people that do. No matter what. No matter what you're trying to sell, there will be people that will buy it.
You can't please everybody.
No, impossible.
Do what you love in the meantime, and the people who they'll come to you. The ones who find you, want you, you know. On the flip side of talking about struggles and obstacles, what has been some of your biggest achievements or successes as a musician, as a private teacher, educator? Anything there that you comes to mind?
I think when you think achievements, you think of like, oh, I won X and Y competition, or I got this trophy. You know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying, but like for you personally, what do you see as an achievement? The students that you have, or I think honestly, my biggest achievement, I think right now, is the fact that I went completely remote in my studio, and I had so many kids be like, okay, we'll just like go with you. It's fine. Well, the internet thing, we can do that. We have internet. We'll stay. That really just really humbled me. And like I said, I've had so many teaching friends that have lost everything. And the fact that I am, I'm good enough in my job that people want to stay with me even through these hardships. And through that has allowed me to start building my brand and really pursuing my dreams. Like, my kids inspire me more than anything. I'm so blessed to have them. And it's been really cool too, because I have had a lot of students be like, so like I'm not really feeling this anymore. Like, I don't really want to sing anymore. I'm like, that's not true. You're just sad because of quarantine. So we're gonna do songs you like. And they're like, but I like want to sing anime music, and we can't do that. I'm like,
why not?
We can. Why not? Actually, I used to sing anime music, so I got you, boo. And they're like, what? And so I've been able to see my kids find their passions too throughout quarantine, which is super important too.
I think recognizing that, you know, you have certain students that no longer want to learn the classical stuff or the traditional things, and so you see that they're struggling or that they're less interested, and pinpointing what it is they do want to actually focus on, and then pursuing that.
It sounds like you're really good at inspiring loyalty, which is a fantastic thing, for an educator.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, just being able to recognize that each person is an individual and not some whole, and going, okay, this student over here, they want to learn anime music, so why not use that to my advantage as a teacher, and keep them interested, and then the student is going to be even more motivated because you've taken an interest in what they're interested in.
Right. Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
I think that's a failing within the education system, and that, you know, there's just not a lot of support for educators in general, but being able to look at each student as an individual rather than as a whole in a group, and going, okay, that person needs this, so we're going to do that for them, you know. And obviously you're in a situation where you can definitely do that, and it's not always the case,
being one-on-one.
I think that's amazing to be able to just go, you know, if I went to you and be like, I want to learn every song from every musical ever, and you're like, okay, cool, let's do that. Like, that would be really exciting to me, because to go to somebody and be like, well, I want to do this, and like, no, you have to be classically trained and do this and this and that. Well, that to me is like, that's not very fun.
I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. Yeah.
There's a big flaw in the classical world. It's very out of date now. They really believe there's one way to sing healthily, and that's it. Yeah. And I could not disagree more. And I do think, you know, if I hadn't had such a hard time in my education, if I hadn't been told so many times, like, you want this, you can't, because opera is the only way, the truth and the light, then I wouldn't be able, or I wouldn't have the hindsight of, okay, this kid wants to sing jazz, let's learn how to improvise, you know. Like, I wasn't, when I was younger, I wasn't fortunate enough to have an educator that saw something in me and saw, oh, she likes this, let's do that. It's always been classical for me, which I really appreciate. It's just not what my voice wants to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. It took me a very long time to realize that, and so now I can see, oh, this kid likes musical theater, let's sing some Waitress. Like, it's not that deep. Yeah. And I wish that the classical music world was more understanding and more open to interpretation, but they're not right now.
Yeah.
And,
well, you know, maybe you're paving that way.
There you go.
That is honestly the goal. One child at a time.
There you go. Yes.
I'll own the world with private students. Okay.
Well, we've already talked about you using YouTube to kind of get yourself virtually out there and, you know, kind of create a little bit of buzz for your brand that way. Obviously, you know, if you're doing remote learning, you've got some sort of remote classroom set up. What tools do you utilize to help run your business, whether that be for creative purposes or for logistical purposes?
YouTube is my main source for CosiMusic. I also use Instagram, which I'm going to do better at updating. We're rebranding. It's going to be a whole thing. 2021, here we come.
Yeah.
Nice. Working remotely, I use Discord a lot.
Okay.
We know Discord?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I started a vocal server recently for other K-pop singers.
Oh.
And I'm giving some like technical advice. I'm offering group classes, I'm offering classes, and I'm trying to move my studio in that remote direction.
Okay.
Because I like the flexibility to go somewhere else if it permits, to live somewhere else, if I get signed as a songwriter or something.
Yeah.
So Discord's been a big one lately.
Okay.
In terms of other lessons, I use Zoom, I use Skype, I use Facebook, whatever you need, I'm there. But I'm still learning about social media in terms of marketing. It's something that intimidates me a lot.
It is very intimidating. Yeah.
It is.
And it changes constantly. The algorithm, like every other week, is a different thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like one person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do the math. And then also, I'm not that creative with pictures, so I'm like, do I post the same selfie that I posted 2 days ago? Like, what do I? So I'm consulting with someone that's going to be helping me kind of move my social media with my rebranding.
Okay.
And so hopefully that will improve in the near future. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think YouTube and Discord are my biggest sources for both my teaching and my marketing at the moment.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Sometimes focusing on one or two things is really kind of where you can get the most bang for your
Yeah,
buck. So,
yeah.
you know, people who spread themselves super thin over every single platform, sometimes you have to know your market, you know, and if your
Right.
market is these K-pop, you know, fans and singers and what have you, then being on the platforms that they utilize the most is really going to be the most
Right.
helpful to you.
Right.
You know, versus being
Yeah.
on Twitter or Facebook, because, you know, I can't imagine that that's super popular, but maybe it is, you know, using the platforms to your advantage, you know, and not spreading yourself so thin across all of them, because it definitely, running social media is a full-time job.
Oh, I would know.
Yeah.
That is that is my actual job, is running social media.
Yeah, actually your job. That's actually it.
So
Yeah. And I don't have a Megan yet. So
not yet, but maybe soon.
Yeah, I do have people that so this year 2020 has really, it's like my manifestation year. It's really brought in the people that I needed at the right time. One of the first people that I really needed was Megan, actually. And I had been following her for a while just on social media. I'm like, this person's cool. And then I had the opportunity to like get in touch with her, and it was like a life-changing day. It was amazing.
Y'all have
really
actually
was.
worked together, haven't you? Y'all
Yeah.
recorded a music video together.
Yeah, and also she's just a fantastic human being.
Aw,
thank
And
you.
I really, because she gave me the push I needed to start. Like I was like, I don't know what to do, and she's like, do it. I'm like, okay. And then also just
That's how the
by-
conversation went.
yeah, literally that was it. There was tears. It was, but like, go do it. I'm like, okay. And then I bought a camera, and then hello. But this year has brought in people in my life that I really needed and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like my Discord, for example, I am not an organized lady. I try. But I had a friend that was like, hey, I really think that this community needs you, so let's make a Discord for you. So she made my entire server.
Nice.
Wow.
And she helps me run it because I'm just a creative person. I don't know logistics.
Yeah.
But she's like, don't pay me. I just want to help you. I just want to do it. I'm like,
Aw.
I feel uncomfortable, but okay. And then I met another person who became my student, and they're helping me with my rebranding. They're an artist, so they're going to help me with logos and with photo shoots and promotion. And I'm like, what can I pay you? And they're like, friendship. And I'm like, are
Aw.
you? But like, I feel, and they're like, I
Just
refuse.
Just wait till you know, become the next, you know,
Taylor Swift.
yeah, or Cher or something. I don't know. I'm dating myself here.
You have to be shared.
You know, and then they're going to be like, hey, remember when I helped you out when you were first getting started?
Oh yeah, totally. But
So can I have some of those millions you've been making? Yeah.
Or can I have some tickets to your concert?
Yeah.
but it's a complete 180 from being in such a negative music space and being around people that are always competing and always wanting to tear you down because they want the
Yeah.
solos or whatever.
Yeah.
To go from that to a Megan, thank you.
It
You
takes
know?
a village, doesn't
It-
it? I mean,
yeah.
it really kind of, to run a business, a lot of people do it on their own, but I feel like you're more successful when you do accept the help and
Yeah.
advice from other people who know things that
Yes.
you don't know.
Yeah, and you're
Yes.
happier doing it, and you learn.
Yeah.
and
And you can focus on the thing you're good at.
Yeah, it's not just a source
Yes.
of stress. It becomes, you know, you get to keep the joy in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it also makes you a better business owner when you're willing to take advice from other people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're running a business, that's such a personal thing. And it can make you very defensive because you think you know the best way to run your own business. But the fact that, you know, you've not only taken advice from like me or your parents, you've taken advice from a whole slew of people. It just seems like you have a really positive outlook on receiving, you know, information from others. And you're, you know, you may not find it all to be super useful, but I really admire that. It seems like you've got a really good a good slew of people in your corner, and I think that, you know, it goes both ways. You know, you have a lot of people. You keep saying you have so many people helping you out, but what I don't think that you realize is that you're helping a lot of people out as well. You know, because it's always
Yeah.
that's always kind of a sharing type of situation, a collaboration situation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make me cry? Because it's working.
Speaking of advice, how, for anybody that's listening that might be considering getting into what you do, would you have some advice for them for starting their own business or just
what you wish you might have done differently starting
out?
The mentor that I spoke about earlier, he also told me once that there is always a way to get what you want. When I started, I had a lot of negative feedback. I was also like physically ill a lot of my undergrad too, and I was always like in pain and I was sad, and I'm like, I can't do this. And he's like, I see that you have this physical illness, I see that you have this negativity, but there are ways to get around it. And that's also something that I think about a lot, because there's always going to be obstacles. Your obstacles are not the same as someone else's.
Sure.
I think really doing what you love is the most important thing. Yeah. There will be a way to do it. You will find it as long as you keep moving.
Absolutely.
And I think also realizing that the people that you admire in whatever field you're in, they also faced rejection. They also faced pain. And if you can, I think the very first rejection is always the worst. If you can get past that, the second one's not so bad.
The road to success is paved with many failures. So the fact that, you just keep pushing and things are always going to pop up, like you said, that are going to be an obstacle to overcome or a hurdle to jump over. But to just know, okay, this is something I really want. I'm going to keep working really hard to have it or to achieve it. So that's great advice.
It is. That's fantastic advice. Yes.
Also, if you're trying to do music because you want to be famous, that's the wrong reason. You're not doing it for the right reason, because the chances of you becoming famous are very slim.
Sure.
And it's not. You can still do music and not be Ariana Grande. Like, it's possible, There's a lot of what's the word? Like fulfillment. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fulfillment in doing local theater. Yeah. Or in singing in a church choir. Like, you don't have to.
If you really love music and it's that's what you're in it for, is for the music, then you're gonna be happy as long as you get to sing or play or whatever it is that you do with music.
I really wanted to be famous when I was younger, because I really wanted that. I wanted the attention. I wanted to be loved because I was missing that in my life at the time. And I think that's why it didn't happen for me sooner. I didn't really know what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were, and I wasn't doing it for the right reason. Yeah. So if you're doing something because you love it, there will always be an avenue. Just keep going. Keep your head up. Talk to people. Try to make connections. It's possible. Anything is possible if you work hard enough for it.
Well, on that note, what does the future hold for Rachael Amos and CosiMusic?
I'm going to become the next K-pop songwriting sensation.
Awesome.
So,
yes. People look out for that. Logistically, like, you said you're rebranding and what have you, going to branch out and offer different types of classes, or you're going to keep doing what you're doing and just adding more students, production stuff, like...
Ooh. So right now I'm focusing on learning songwriting. Eventually I'd really like to learn production.
Good deal.
Too. But I think in the meantime I'm gonna keep my student base as students, students fluctuate. Some will be like, I'm going on vacation for 2 years. See you later. I'm gonna try to replace those with remote students, or students that focus on like either pop or K-pop or J-pop or whatever, and try to make my brand focused around an international singing market.
Okay.
That's the goal at the moment, but it's very much like stepping stones.
Sure.
I have to write my third song. I have to finish it first.
So writing that third song and getting it finished. Yeah. Good deal. That's the most immediate future, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Just I'm trying to build a songwriting portfolio so I can start trying to market myself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it does sound like you're branching
Sounds like
out.
big things in the future for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
can't think about it too much or I get really nervous. So
Yeah.
right now I'm just writing my third song.
Yeah,
you
one
know?
step at a time. That's how you
one,
do it.
Yeah, one
Yep.
bite at a time. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel, well, tell everybody where they can find you on social media, all your media accounts and all that jazz.
Ooh, okay. Hello. I'm Rachel again. So my my YouTube is YouTube/CosiMusic, which is COSI music. And then my Instagram is cozy.music. And then you can also add me on Discord because I do lesson things. And let me get my, it's Rachel, RACHAEL. And the number is 7828.
All right.
So any of those things, if you want lessons, hit me up.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Rachel, for jumping on today and being with us and talking about the world of music. I know we definitely wanted to talk to a musician because this year has just been such a rough year for people in your
Yeah.
field and just kind of highlighting what you do and how you do it. And so thank you for taking the time to come and talk with us via
Thank
Skype.
you for having me.
It was
It's been
great getting to talk
fun.
to you. It was fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and we hope everybody enjoyed it, and we hope you have a great week. So, yeah. Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Do you have a story to tell? We want to hear it. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast and share your story, contact us on our website at PaynePoints.com or any of the social media linked on our website. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. We'd appreciate a review, a like, or a comment to let us know what you think. You can find all of our podcasts linked on our website under the podcast tab. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we want to wish everybody a wonderful day.